want me to preach. I ain't gonna tell them the sugar things. Just gonna give them a sugar fit. But I'm gonna give them sound doctrine. Because the wages of sin is death. And the gift of God is everlasting life. You ought to clap your hand and say, yeah. See, in this hour, God is looking for someone who is going to say, I had a real turning point in my life. I used to be one way, but now I'm God's way. I used to think one way, but I'm transformed by the renewing of my mind. See, that's the third point in where we should make a turn. You got to turn in your mind. The first thing the Lord asked us for, He said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your mind has to be changed. Oh yes, it has to be renewed. If your mind ain't changed, you're going to talk a good talk. Oh yes, you're going to say some good things. You're going to be in church testing life, saying how you are turned around. But by and by, oh my God, you're going to have a relapse. You're going to have a change of mind. Why? Because you have transformed and renewed your mind. When your mind ain't transformed, you only can talk a good talk. But when the same old crowd come around, you want to do the same old thing. Ooh, you want to talk the same old talk. But I thank God that when my mind becomes changed, I don't want the same old friends. I don't want the same old company. My mind is different. I don't want the same old music because my mind has been changed. I don't want the same old surroundings because my mind has been changed. I'm so glad that my mind is changed and transformed. But I love how it says. It says we ought to prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I made up in my mind that at my turning point, everything got to be new. What's the use in being in church and still living like the world? What's the use in preaching the gospel and I'm living like hell? What's the use in singing songs of Zion and I'm still sad in my soul because I hadn't had a turning point? I'm so glad that I've got a real turning point in my life. I know when I change. See, when I looked at the scriptures, Paul wrote to the Thessalonian church about how they should react toward their fellow brothers and sisters.